Last Sunday, at exactly 8:14 p.m., my uncle called me, his voice cold, trembling. "Your parents said you haven't spoken to them in a year, that you left them to rot." I almost dropped my phone. My hands shook. I felt something die inside me. Forget to subscribe to the channel and comment where you're watching from, because just 3 days earlier, I'd paid their 12th straight month of rent, $1,765.42 direct deposit, like clockwork, every single month. I was still sitting in my apartment, staring at the crumpled DoorDash bag I hadn't opened because I couldn't afford a real dinner. And they said I abandoned them? They told the whole family I was a selfish disgrace? After I drained $21,184.87 over the year just to keep their roof, that's when I realized this wasn't confusion. This was calculated betrayal. 5 minutes later, I opened my laptop and pulled up every receipt, not to prove myself, but to plan my revenge. I'm 27, software support rep by day, freelance web dev by night. I live in a 480-square-foot apartment in Queens, where the shower faucet leaks like it's crying for help. And honestly, I get it. Every weekday, I start work at 9 a.m. sharp, pretending to care about people's printer problems while nursing. Last night's ramen in a chipped mug. I make about $51,000 a year before taxes. After rent, utilities, and helping my parents, I had about $138 left most months. But I kept going, because they were my parents. And in our house, you don't let your parents struggle, no matter what. Growing up, we weren't poor, but we weren't far off. My dad was a mechanic, hardworking but stubborn. Mom stayed home, cooked everything from scratch, and made guilt a centerpiece at dinner. When I landed my first full-time job, the first words my dad said were, "So, you gonna start helping with rent now?" Not congrats, not I'm proud of you, just expectations. Still, I wired the first payment the next week. And when COVID hit and they fell behind on bills, I took over entirely. $1,765.42 every month, plus groceries every other week. Amazon Prime and even their damn cable package, because my mom can't miss her dramas. I skipped vacations, skipped dates, skipped meals, because they needed me. Or at least, I thought they did, until the phone call, until the lie, until I realized they didn't just forget my sacrifices, they erased them. And now they were playing victim. To the whole family, to everyone who would listen, and I had everything to lose. My name, my peace, my dignity. But what they didn't know, I was about to take everything back. It started with whispers. My cousin, Priya, texted me. "Heard from Auntie you haven't called in a year. WTF?" Then my mom's sister, Aunt Nitu, commented on my Instagram post. "Family isn't disposable. Hope you find your way back." I stared at that comment for 5 whole minutes. Disposable? I should have known when my mom stopped thanking me for the transfers. I should have known when Dad started replying "seen" to my texts instead of actual words. But I ignored the signs because I was raised to believe that parents are sacred. Until one night I visited their apartment unannounced, just to drop off a pressure cooker I got on sale. The door opened halfway. "Why are you here?" my mother asked. Her voice wasn't curious, it was cold, defensive, like I was an intruder. I stepped inside anyway, holding the box awkwardly. Dad didn't even look up from the TV. On the screen, a commercial about family insurance, ironically. He just said, "So now you show up?" That hit me like a slap. I blinked. "Wait, what?" Mom crossed her arms. "You forgot your roots. Your head's too high now, huh? Too busy living your life to call?" I was speechless. Literally could not form a single word. I whispered, "I've been paying your rent for a year." Mom scoffed. "Yeah, but money isn't everything. You abandoned us emotionally." Her words stabbed deeper than any insult. Then my dad chimed in. "You're like those NRI kids. Send money and call it love. We didn't raise you like that." His voice, stone cold. The same man I once watched cry over a flat tire because he couldn't afford a tow truck. I looked around the apartment, the couch I helped buy, The groceries I'd ordered just last week, still in their kitchen, the Wi-Fi router I installed myself, and yet, they made me the villain? I stood there, frozen, heart pounding in my ears. The silence was deafening. No defense, no recognition, just dismissal. I left the pressure cooker on their table and walked out. That was the last time I stepped foot in that apartment. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing my dad's voice. "We didn't raise you like that." He was right. They didn't raise me to be heartless, but they were the ones who turned cold first. And that was their first mistake. Because the next morning, I opened my laptop, not just to check my bank statements, but to go back, all the way back, and trace every single thing I ever did for them. The next morning, I brewed stale black coffee and opened my laptop, not out of spite, out of survival. I needed to remind myself I wasn't crazy. I needed evidence, not just to prove them wrong, but to protect my name before they burned it to ash. First, I logged into my Chase bank account. There it was. A timeline of loyalty. Sept 3, 1,165.42, ACH transfer to Ravi and Meena Kumarakt 2, $1,765.42. Same transfer Nav 1, $1,765.42, again, 12 months straight. Not a single late payment. Total, $21,184.87, and that was just rent. I opened my Amazon account. Typed, Kumar residence in delivery address history. It autofilled instantly. Dozens of orders. Feb 9, Samsung 43, Smart TV, $379.99 May 14, electric massager, $129, July 22, pressure cooker, $89.95 next. I checked Instacart, monthly groceries, 140, 220 name brand snacks my mom liked, Bikaji Bhujia, Kisan Jam, Amul butter, all delivered to their door. Even their Netflix account was under my email. I'd upgraded to 4K for my dad, and guess what? He changed the profile icon to a lion. But here's the twist. As I combed through the data, something caught my eye, a name I didn't recognize. In June, an extra charge, $865 wired to a Neha S. memo. Thank you for helping, Mom. That wasn't from me. My jaw tightened. I logged into Mom's Facebook. Yeah, I still knew her password. Sunita in 1993. She never changed it, and there it was. A message thread with my aunt, Neetu. Screenshots, false stories. We haven't heard from him in months. He only cares about himself. You know how these American kids are. Even a GoFundMe link. Title: Help my parents stay afloat after their son left. Goal: $5,000 raised, 2,273. Contributors: Neha S., Rakesh D., Priya D., my own family. I felt like I was watching my life twist into a soap opera. And I wasn't the writer, I was the plot twist. That night, I laid it all out. Created a PDF titled, What I Really Did, Evidence File. Screenshots. Bank records, delivery receipts, messages, GoFundMe scam, and then I did something even colder. Then betrayal. I sent nothing. I stayed silent. Because I wasn't done yet. I had one card left to play. Breadcrumb reveal number 1. I emailed the apartment leasing office. Subject: Rental sponsorship termination, Unit 4B. I waited. 2 days later, I got the reply. Thank you for the update. We will inform the tenants of rent reassignment. Breadcrumb reveal, Bur 2. I DM'd every relative who reposted the GoFundMe. Just one message. Can I send you something? I think you deserve the truth. Half replied. I sent the file. 3 replied with, holy sh*t. 2 called me crying. But the best was still coming. Breadcrumb reveal, for 3. I scheduled a family Zoom meeting. Grandma's birthday. The perfect cover. They wouldn't see it coming. One last thing. I set up my phone camera. Record. Not for YouTube. Not for revenge porn, but for documentation. Because this time, I wasn't letting them rewrite the story. This time, I was holding the pen. August 13th, 7 p.m. sharp. Zoom call starts. Grandma's smiling in her sari, her silver hair tied back tight. My uncles and aunts appear one by one. Everyone's cheerful, festive. Even my parents joined, faces blank, until they saw me. Mom's smile wavered. Dad cleared his throat. They weren't expecting me. I played along. Happy birthday, Daddy. You look beautiful. Laughter. Small talk. Until I said, before we cut the cake, I want to share a little something. The room fell quiet. I shared my screen. Opened the file. What I really did, evidence file. First slide, $21,184.87, 12 months of rent. Receipts flashed, month by month, time-stamped. Second slide, Amazon orders TV, pressure cooker, groceries, each with delivery screenshots and tracking links. Third slide, GoFundMe scam title. Description, amount raised. Nitu gasped. Wait, this was a fundraiser? I turned calmly to the camera. Yes, a fundraiser claiming I abandoned them. While I was keeping their roof from collapsing, Mom's lips parted. No words. Fourth slide, Facebook messages. My mother's exact words. He's forgotten his culture. We are suffering. With a timestamp, the same day I paid for her prescription. Refill, Aunt Priya whispered. Oh my God. Then came the final slide. Rent sponsorship terminated. AUG 31. I said, by the end of this month, I'll no longer be funding the apartment at 233 Ridgeway Lane, Unit 4B. Mom gasped. You can't just... I can. I cut her off, voice steady. And... I did, Dad muttered. You're doing this in front of the family? You're humiliating us? No, I said softly. You did that. I'm just showing them the unedited version. The screen went black. My file closed. I looked at my grandmother. Dottie, I'm sorry this happened today, but I needed people to know what was being said and what was actually done. She didn't. Speak for a moment. Then she looked at my parents and said, shame on both of you. My mother's eyes welled up. My father turned his camera off, but it was too late, because that Zoom call? I recorded it, and then I did something poetic. Uploaded it. Privately. Sent the link only to the GoFundMe contributors. Subject line, what you actually paid for. Neha S. replied with a single line, I want my $500 back, but I wasn't done. 3 days later, I got a call. From the landlord. Hey, the Kumars are trying to stay in the unit, but they can't show proof of income. You sure you want to terminate? Absolutely. A week later, I received an update. Eviction notice posted. 30 days. The cherry on top? I got a message from my boss. He saw the Zoom clip. That was intense. We're launching a fraud awareness campaign. Want to lead it? Promotion. $12,000 raise. Karma didn't just swing back. It cracked like thunder. My parents? They moved in with my uncle temporarily. Word spread fast. They lost the sympathy of every relative. No more free rides, no more GoFundMes. And the next time they texted, it wasn't to ask for money. It was a 4-word apology. We messed up. Sorry. I left them on scene, because some silence is earned. It's been 8 months since the Zoom call. I haven't spoken to my parents since. Not out of hatred, out of peace. See, after that night, I realized something. Forgiveness doesn't always require reconnection. Sometimes it just means closing the door quietly and never opening it again. They moved in with Uncle Ramesh temporarily. But word got around. They weren't victims. They were manipulators caught on camera. And in an Indian family, that kind of shame echoes louder than a courtroom verdict. The GoFundMe was flagged and frozen. All remaining funds were returned. Neha S. did get her $500 back. She sent me a thank you message. Your parents fooled all of us. You didn't just reclaim your name, you protected your integrity. I printed that and taped it above my desk. Professionally? That fraud awareness campaign I helped lead went viral inside our company. I was asked to speak at a regional event, me, the quiet kid who used to skip class presentations. Now, I make $74,500 a year. Same 480 square foot apartment, but somehow, it feels bigger now. Because shame doesn't live here anymore. I even started a blog, Rent Receipts and Red Flags, about financial abuse, silent betrayal, and generational guilt. Over 50K readers in 6 months. People emailing me, "This happened to me too." You gave me the courage to cut ties. I didn't just take revenge. I started a ripple. And my parents? They called twice after the dust settled. Left voicemails filled with half apologies and guilt-laced memories. You were always such a good son. We didn't know you'd take it this far. But I didn't take it far. They did. They gambled with the one person who was truly in their corner. And lost. Today I walk to work listening to music, not stress. I take real vacations. I don't check my phone with dread, because the silence that once hurt me now protects me. Boundaries aren't disrespectful. They're survival. Guilt is a weapon, especially when wrapped in tradition. You can love someone and still walk away. Revenge isn't petty when it's the only language they respect, especially when it's backed by truth. If you've ever been used, rewritten, or made to feel disposable, let this be your permission. You are allowed to walk away and never explain. Let your peace be the last word. Because when justice is done quietly, cleanly, and completely, there's nothing louder.